Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is that there seems to be a terror attack, specifically on the Coast Guard in LA, rather than the Bay Area. Seems that there was a person was in a vehicle, U-Haul truck, and started rapidly backing up into the Coast Guard. And there's going to be actual videos of that as well. I don't see where we can really go from here. It seems it's gone pretty bad in this instance. And it seems this happens to be with the terrorists, or not the terrorists, but the protests in LA. And we have a good update on this. So where's to go into it? Let's get into it. So we have this here from Fox KTVU. It says live updates. Gunfire rings out at the end of Bay Area immigration protest. Says a team of federal agents from multiple agencies began arriving Thursday at Coast Guard Island in Alameda as part of President Donald Trump's continued crackdown on immigration across the U.S. Protesters gathered outside the base, holding signs and chanting for the agents to leave. Hours later, San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie and Trump later announced that the planned federal immigration surge had been called off for San Francisco. And one of the reasons why this is because of this incident here, where you have the law enforcement open fire at a driver backing a U-Haul truck into line of police outside U.S. Coast Guard base in Alameda, California.
They're gonna shoot that thing.
Now, if you have good enough ears, you end up finding out there's like weird, eerie music in the background, right? Which is essentially what the protest would be. We have this here. Before the cancellation, a federal source who requested anonymity confirmed that roughly 100 U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents had been sent to the region to conduct an operation targeting pre-identified targets. Those locations might have included Home Depots around the Bay Area, as there are often undocumented immigrants there. Border Patrol is the law enforcement arm of CBP. Those plans were scrapped once the surge was paused. Trump and his administration have repeatedly threatened to send federal agents and National Guard troops into San Francisco and other cities, as the federal government has done in LA, Chicago, and Portland. We're going to San Francisco. The difference is, I think they want us in San Francisco, Trump told Fox News on Sunday. San Francisco is truly one of the great cities of the world, and then 15 years ago, it went wrong. It went woke. Yeah, it's actually a terrible place. I don't even want to take my car over there because I am worried that somebody's going to bash in the back of my window. So I have no real desire to do that, and window repairs are expensive, so I ain't going to do that. Says here, October 24th, 2025, 12:33 p.m. Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee confirmed Friday what KTVU previously reported, that the operation was canceled for the entire Bay Area. I spoke with Alameda County Sheriff Aracena Sanchez, who confirmed through her communications with ICE that Border Patrol operations are canceled for the greater Bay Area, which includes Oakland, at this time. So they had to cancel it due to this. We have this here, October 23rd, 2023, or 2025, 10 p.m. Coast Guard police fired at U-Haul driver who was seen reversing in their direction about 10 p.m. Thursday night. The two people were struck by gunfire, the driver of the U-Haul and a bystander, according to a police source and a witness. The extent of their injuries was not made public. So I think what we have here is that we don't know who the witness is. It could be one of the actual bystanders of the protest, but we don't know. We are going to find out very quickly here that this was an actual protest that was going on. Video shows of the driver of a U-Haul truck accelerating backwards towards a line of armed enforcement personnel. About a dozen people were in the frame of the video at the time. KTVU cameras caught what appeared to be several shots fired by law enforcement towards the U-Haul during the clash. The FBI is investigating. The majority of the protesters had gone home, as earlier in the day, Trump had called off the immigration surge. So this was 10 o'clock p.m. So 5:20 p.m., 5 hours before this incident, A separate group of protesters marched from Oakland's Fruitvale district to join about 100 to 150 demonstrators already gathered at the entrance of the Coast Guard. 5:03 p.m. KTVU learned from a source that Oakland Police and Alameda County Sheriff's deputies were asked to clear the intersection outside Coast Guard Island, but those agencies declined to intervene. That's why the California Highway Patrol was called in. 3:50 p.m. California Highway Patrols have left the area outside Coast Guard Island after clearing the roadway. 3:40 p.m. Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee said she has not had any communication with the White House or the Department of Homeland Security about now the scrapped federal immigration surge in the Bay Area. Lee said she is open to talks with President Trump and members of his administration. So we have this here where we have 246 officers arrested one person during the protest. So during this whole time here, between all this, things have been going crazy, right? Like 10:30 a.m., you had East Bay leaders, including Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee, U.S. Representative Latifa Simon, State Jesse arguing, Assembly members Buffy Wicks and Mia Bonta, and Alameda County Supervisor Nikki Fortunato Bass held a news conference to talk about the federal immigration enforcement in the Bay Area. And it seems that the protest is what was going on here, right? It's 7:15 a.m. You can see eyes out now. Protesters start yelling, and there's some pushing and shoving. It's 6:20 p.m. This is what's going on here. And 5 o'clock a.m., where they started building roadblocks here. And then you have this here, right here, where there's a roadblocks. One man stood outside the Coast Guard Island Bridge in Alameda with a sign that read "Eyes Out Now" early Thursday morning. Another man held a sign that read "Shame on You." It appears as though dozens of civilian vehicles drove through the main entrance of Coast Guard Island on the border of the Oakland Alameda County city line. So what we have here is that the protest lasted essentially hours, from what we gathered here, and this is insane. I mean, this is like at 5:15 a.m. guys, 5 a.m. So these are the people here, and then you even have 4 hours later, 4.5 hours later, you still have the protesters here, and it even shows that there were people arrested at 2:46 p.m. So this is going on continuous here, and all of a sudden we have like a U-Haul truck do this. Uh, this is crazy, and of course you have this. That's a cameraman. Stop reposting this. Trump's villain USA. But the thing is that it's like you're calling this like you're calling this like a villain USA. But like you have to understand here, right? That the U-Haul truck that we see here is it was backing up into them. You're like, are you expecting like the police officers, etc., to be to quite honestly to just allow U-Haul truck to rapidly back into them? Like this is what the problem with these leftists, right? They they expect like for police officers to just be killed. And don't get me wrong. I have problem with police officers. I have problems with the actual on how police are ran and like the blue tail liner, etc. And I have problems with that. And things like that need to be dealt with. I think that our police can be much better. I think our police could be betterly trained. I think our police could be held higher repercussions. I think we could get rid of qualified immunity. I think there are a lot of things we could do for our police force to make it better for our country, not to mention some of the weird, crazy things that I heard from somebody that our justice system is not really a justice system. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to work on in this country to make it better. But the one thing that I do know here is that we just do not allow police officers, or rather, Coast Guard, to allow a U-Haul truck to back into them and just allow that to happen. So saying that this is Trump villain USA is absolutely insanity here, because you're just saying like, oh well, we should just allow them to just run them over, right? Like, what are we doing here exactly? So the far left are essentially what we see here. It looks like it's a it looks like it's a somewhat maybe of a terror attack. All right, I'm not entirely. I don't know how true that could be, but considering the time frame that we have here with this here, which makes it quite obvious. Because again, if this is at like 5 a.m., right? So the only other way that we could possibly get away with this is it has to be between 5 a.m. and it has to be in something between it has to be at least at 10 p.m. and no later earlier, right? Because again, it doesn't really make much sense, right? Uh, because again, at 10 p.m., Coast Guard police fired at U-Haul driver who was seen reversing in their direction at about 10 p.m. Thursday night. So, and this is still ongoing with the actual protesters. So again, a separate group of protesters marched from Oakland's Fruitvale district to join about 100 to 150 demonstrators already gathered at the entrance of the Coast Guard of the place. So I don't know about you guys, but it seems like this is leftist affiliated. It seems like this was some type of either terror attack or what have you, because this is insane here. And to think that this is like, oh well, this is a terrorist. This is Trump's Philly America. Yeah, okay, well, whatever. So we'll see what happens here. It's not looking good, guys. We are definitely in civil strife at the very least. Democrats have been hampering down. I'm going to try to get on that today. If not, I'll be doing a stream on Monday on that as well, because I think I've been too lax on stuff. So we need to do a full stream on this, so among other things. So guys, yeah, that's it. That's it for video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends, and stay safe.